As Starship Flight 7 approaches, the space community is more eager than ever to witness the grand launch of the next generation of Starship. Not only is it taller and carries more propellant, but the Block 2 hardware also features a number of upgrades, with the highlight being the heat shield. With the recent hints about a new type of heat shield with metallic outskin, the SpaceX fans really hope to see it to be tested in the upcoming flight. Find out everything in today's episode. After 6 Starship test flights, SpaceX is now confident to enter the 7th attempt, which will witness the introduction of Block 2. Now, the mega rocket has been licensed to fly but has remained unclear the exact launch date. With the FAA's approval in place, attention now turns to the mission objectives for Flight 7. The test flight will look similar to its last 2 launches, including the launch of the combined Starship Chosh Super Heavy vehicle from Boca Chica, Texas, and a return to the launch site of the Super Heavy booster rocket for a catch attempt by the launch tower, and a water landing of the Starship vehicle in the Indian Ocean west of Australia. While sharing the same objectives with Flight 6, the hardware of the upcoming flight will have significant innovations, particularly the unexpectedly enhanced heat shield. A heat shield's purpose is to protect an object or person from overheating or burning by reflecting, absorbing, or dissipating heat. Heat shields are commonly used in the aerospace and automotive industries. The most common material for a heat shield is carbon phenolic. Carbon-carbon composites are another material used in rocket components that need to withstand extreme heat, such as rocket nozzles. If a heat shield fails during re-entry, the spacecraft could burn up or suffer significant damage, potentially resulting in the loss of the vehicle and its crew. During intensive stress testing of the Block 2 heat shield, SpaceX engineers encountered a significant challenge when sensors identified a critical flaw that could jeopardize the entire Starship program. This issue arose under high thermal loads just weeks before final assembly, prompting the team to enter crisis mode. Acknowledging the urgency, SpaceX's engineers sprang into action, utilizing their extensive technical skills and collaborative approach to confront the problem directly. For 72 hours straight, they meticulously examined every element of the heat shield's design to pinpoint the source of the defect. Rather than merely addressing the immediate concern, the team took this opportunity to completely revamp the thermal protection system. They integrated advanced materials and innovative designs, marking a substantial shift from conventional methods. This is where the metallic heat shield tiles come in. They are made of alloy metallic that can withstand extreme temperatures and be reused with minimal maintenance. The presence of the metallic tiles on Starship was captured by the media for the first time on Flight 4's Ship 30, with 6 bricks covered by metallic outskin on the port side of the vehicle. By then, this left some questions about what it is exactly and what it aims for. Eric Ralph, Teslarati's senior spaceflight reporter, his own opinion. Is it just me, or does the outer skin look distinctly metallic? The apparent protrusions, rivets, thermocouples make me skeptical that these are test tiles and not some kind of tile-shaped instrumentation. But I would love it if the dream of metallic Starship TPS still lives on. Traditionally, ceramic heat shield tiles have been the cornerstone of thermal protection systems. While effective, they are plagued by several limitations. Ceramic tiles are fragile, expensive to manufacture, and require extensive maintenance after every mission. In contrast, SpaceX's new metallic heat shields present a durable, cost-effective, and low-maintenance alternative, marking a revolutionary advancement for reusable spacecraft like Starship. However, using metal tiles raises some concern, particularly because the extreme temperatures during the spacecraft's re-entry through Earth's atmosphere can melt these metallic tiles. Indeed, this happened. The aluminum-coated heat shields on SpaceX's Starship melted during Flight 5, demonstrating that the aluminum coating was not able to withstand the intense heat of re-entry. The stainless steel hull underneath the shields also became discolored from the heat. During re-entry, the leading edges of a spacecraft can reach temperatures of up to 3,000 degrees Celsius, 5,400 degrees Fahrenheit. This heat comes from friction between the spacecraft and atmospheric particles, as well as compressed air in front of the vehicle. But rest assured, SpaceX has addressed this concern. First of all, the company explores hybrid approaches, combining metallic and ceramic solutions to achieve superior heat resistance and durability. The goal is to create a heat shield system that can endure higher temperatures while maintaining an optimal mass for interplanetary missions. Secondly, SpaceX has introduced cooling systems for its heat shield that seem more like something out of a science fiction novel than actual engineering. These systems are specifically engineered to boost the thermal resilience of their spacecraft. One innovative method involves dissipating heat across the spacecraft's surface by applying a coolant fluid that forms a thin protective layer, effectively shielding it from the extreme temperatures encountered during re-entry. In this case, methane is the ideal coolant used. These groundbreaking innovations are designed to endure severe thermal dynamics, significantly enhancing the spacecraft's durability. Additionally, during the post-flight analysis of Starship Flight 6, an intriguing phenomenon was observed. Under the intense heat of re-entry, certain areas of the stainless steel hull developed microscopic crystal structures. These formations, resulting from the interplay of high temperatures and material properties, improved the heat resistance of the spacecraft's hull. This unexpected finding has opened up new research avenues in materials science, with implications that extend well beyond the design of Starship itself. Frankly, the concept of star bricks, which are made of steel and use water, or liquid methane, to dissipate heat on re-entry, was revealed 5 years ago. While there has been some promising experimental research on transpirational heat shields, systems that utilize the heat capacity of vaporizing liquids or gases to absorb thermal energy during rocket re-entries. Elon Musk is correct in stating that a stainless steel sandwich-hulled spacecraft cooled by microscopic holes and liquid water or propellant is a novel concept that hasn't been proposed before. Although the foundational idea may have emerged over the past 50 to 100 years, it appears that no serious theoretical or experimental investigations have been conducted into transpiration-cooled metallic thermal protection systems, TPS. Metallic TPS are already considered quite exotic and untested in modern aerospace applications. The existing research primarily focuses on transpiration cooling for non-metallic materials, leaving a significant gap in understanding how this technique could be effectively applied to metallic heat shields. Thus, while the basic principles of transpiration cooling have been explored, the specific application to metallic structures remains largely uncharted territory. While it's unclear whether the metallic tiles are applied for Flight 7, clearly the upgraded heat shield for the next flight will have the new secondary ablative layer underneath for added protection. This new design is applied for the first time in Flight 4, as quoted by SpaceX. We intentionally placed one thin heat shield tile and removed 2 tiles completely from the ship to measure how hot things get without tiles in those locations, while also testing some thermal protection options. The results surprised many, as there was no record of damage in those locations without the heat shield. Clearly, the 2-layer solution worked.
Of the 2 tiles that we put in the rear where we took the tiles off, we'd actually put some backup ablative there. One was 2 layers of ablative, one was 1 layer of ablative. The 2 layer of ablative did not burn through. The 1 layer of ablative did, but I'm not sure if it actually burnt through the steel too, but it did erode the single layer of ablative. But it just says that if you have 2 layers of our ablative, it does not actually burn through.
Fast forward to Flight 5, and SpaceX continues to push testing even further, as the ablative layers will be used in most of the places instead of one place as before. It will be added beneath the primary tiles as an insurance policy. These secondary tiles are made from silicone and felt, meaning they self-cool by slowly disintegrating to expel heat. The addition of the ablative layer aims to increase the overall heat protection capabilities of Starship, potentially allowing for higher re-entry speeds and heating conditions than the heat shield tiles alone could withstand reliably over many uses. Some specifics on the ablative material SpaceX plans to use have not been made public. However, Elon Musk has said that this material is not good for reuse, but keeps the ship and its inhabitants safe in case the tiles fall off during or before re-entry. SpaceX has applied the ablative heat shield for a long time on SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft. An ablative heat shield, as SpaceX uses on Dragon's primary heat shield, works by heating part of the material itself into gas and burning away, thus moving the heat buildup away from the capsule. By comparison, a thermal soak heat shield, as was used on the Space Shuttle, is designed to absorb the heat and radiate it without the material burning away. There are also other heat shield types, such as active cooling, which SpaceX had planned to use on its Starship rocket at one point. The thickness of the Dragon capsule's heat shield allows it to act partially as a thermal soak, but the outer layer will still ablate, reducing the heat shield thickness. The heat shield technologies of SpaceX's Starship and NASA's Space Shuttle represent two distinct approaches to thermal protection during atmospheric re-entry. The Space Shuttle utilized a complex system of over 24,000 ceramic tiles, each uniquely shaped and sized, which were prone to damage from debris and required extensive maintenance after every mission. This fragility made the shuttle's heat shield a logistical nightmare, as engineers had to inspect, repair, and replace tiles for months before the next flight. In contrast, Starship employs a more innovative design, featuring approximately 18,000 hexagonal ceramic tiles, arranged in an overlapping pattern. This configuration not only reduces the total number of tiles, but also enhances structural integrity by minimizing gaps that could allow hot gases to penetrate. Additionally, Starship's heat shield incorporates advanced materials and a multi-layered approach, including an ablative layer beneath the tiles for added protection against extreme temperatures. While the shuttle's aluminum alloy structure had a relatively low melting point, Starship's stainless steel hull is designed to withstand higher thermal loads. As SpaceX continues to refine its heat shield technology, the emphasis on reusability and ease of maintenance positions Starship as a significant advancement over the shuttle's more cumbersome system, paving the way for future space exploration. Rocket engines are widely regarded as the most challenging components to design and build in the aerospace industry, due to a combination of complex engineering requirements and extreme operating conditions. The intricacies involved in rocket engine engineering span several scientific disciplines, including fluid dynamics, thermodynamics, mechanical engineering, and chemical engineering. One of the primary challenges is optimizing the engine's performance, which is crucial for achieving the desired thrust and efficiency. This involves selecting the right fuel oxidizer combinations that yield lightweight exhaust molecules, which enhances exhaust velocity and specific impulse, the measure of how effectively a rocket uses its propellant. The development of new engine technologies was once slow, with many advancements remaining stagnant since the 1960s. The complexity of building rocket engines has forced many aerospace companies to opt to purchase engines from established manufacturers, rather than build on their own. For example, United Launch Alliance had relied on the Russian RD-180 rocket engine for a while to power its retired Atlas V rocket. Even when producing the next-generation rocket, Vulcan Centaur, the company has ordered the BE-4 engines from Blue Origin to power Vulcan's first stage. This has a major disadvantage as you have no control over the supplier's delivery speed, resulting in delays in your tasks. That's the case of ULA's Vulcan Centaur, which hit many delays and setbacks over 4 years, partly due to the fault of ULA's partner, Blue Origin. Blue Origin originally indicated that the first BE-4 engines would be delivered to ULA in summer 2021, but the delivery was delayed. ULA had to wait over a year to receive the first two BE-4 engines. Moreover, if your company follows the approach of continuous innovation in rocket development, outsourcing is truly not a good idea. You cannot control every aspect of the rocket's design, performance, and cost. You can't just experiment and blow them up. That explains why SpaceX chose a different path from other manufacturers from the beginning, developing a rocket engine on its own. This unique approach, while more time-consuming and labor-intensive, paid off handsomely. A series of groundbreaking Raptor rocket engine versions. SpaceX started its journey with the first version of the Raptor, or the Christmas tree version in a funny word. It is the third rocket engine in history, designed with a full-flow staged combustion fuel cycle, and the first such engine to power a vehicle in flight. The engine is powered by cryogenic liquid methane and liquid oxygen, a mixture known as methalox. The use of this propellant aligns with Musk's vision of Mars colonization, given that it is easier to store, beneficial for reusability, because leaves less residue in the engines compared to kerosene. More importantly, it can be produced on Mars. Due to its bulky and complex appearance, Elon Musk decided to simplify Raptor 1, and since then, we have Raptor 2. The turbo machinery, chamber, nozzle, and electronics were all redesigned. Many flanges were converted to welds, while other parts were deleted. Simplifications continued after production began. Hard work paid off. Raptor 2 is significantly lighter than Raptor 1, with Raptor 1 having a mass of 2,000 kilograms and Raptor 2 being 1,600 kilograms. Reducing the mass of rocket engines is a breakthrough because it reduces the dead mass of the rocket, simplifies manufacturing, saves costs, and shortens maintenance time between flights. Besides that, Raptor 2's production pace increased significantly. By 18 December 2021, Raptor 2 had started production, but until November 2022, SpaceX produced more than one Raptor a day and had created a stockpile for future launches. For SpaceX, cutting excess detail on the Raptor also benefits engine performance. The biggest change to Raptor 2 is an almost 25% increase in maximum nominal thrust over Raptor 1, from around 185 to 230 tons. Raptor 2 also contains design improvements throughout to enable sustained, reliable operation at chamber pressures up to 300 bar, 20% higher than Raptor 1. Despite of the incredible features on Raptor 2, SpaceX wasn't done yet. Raptor 3 was introduced to the world via Elon Musk's tweet on August. The Raptor 3 engine appears sleek and straightforward, yet it conceals immense power beneath its black exterior. In a tweet, Elon Musk highlighted the significant effort involved in simplifying the Raptor engine, integrating secondary flow paths, and incorporating regenerative cooling for exposed components. Visually, the smaller systems present in Raptor 1 and Raptor 2 have largely been removed, leaving only a few robust pipes alongside larger, more unified systems. This change suggests that complex and vulnerable elements have either been eliminated or consolidated, thereby minimizing various risks. To achieve this integration, SpaceX opted for welding instead of using screws or flanges. This welding approach helps unify the engine systems and reduces the likelihood of operational errors. Additionally, Musk noted that many components are now 3D metal printed into the wall of the part. Thanks to these innovations, Raptor 3 features an enhanced cooling system that effectively manages the heat and pressure generated by the engine's thrust. This upgrade offers a significant advantage. Raptor 3 no longer requires a heat shield, which eliminates both the mass and complexity associated with heat shields as well as fire suppression systems. In response to Everyday Astronaut on social media, Musk reiterated that everything is regeneratively cooled, further emphasizing the engine's streamlined design. In earlier versions, the heat shield was crucial due to the presence of numerous vulnerable systems. However, it was unable to fully protect the engine, as demonstrated by the damage sustained by Super Heavy engines during all 4 flights. Additionally, the heat shield contributed to the overall mass of the rocket. By eliminating it, SpaceX showcases significant confidence in the new design, ensuring that the engines are durable enough to endure the harsh conditions of flight and testing. This modification aligns with SpaceX's objective of optimizing its rockets by reducing weight. While reducing mass is a notable improvement, many are looking forward to the enhanced power of Raptor 3. Elon Musk confirmed this in a tweet, stating that it is lighter, has more thrust, and has higher efficiency than Raptor 2. SpaceX later shared additional tweets comparing the specifications of all 3 Raptor versions. To provide context, let's revisit a test conducted mid-2023. Musk revealed impressive results from this test, where Raptor 3 achieved 269 tons, 593,000 pounds of thrust. This capability would allow Super Heavy, equipped with 33 Raptor engines, to generate a total thrust of 8,877 tons, 19.5 million pounds. Moreover, Raptor 3 reached a chamber pressure of up to 350 bars, surpassing all other existing engines. This performance clearly exceeds the thrust capabilities of both Raptor 1 and Raptor 2. Currently, Starship's liftoff thrust already doubles that of the Saturn V rocket, and with Raptor 3's introduction, those figures are set to become even more impressive. However, during an April presentation, Musk surprised many by revealing that Raptor 3 has different specifications compared to last year's test results. Specifically, he introduced Raptor 3 with a thrust capacity of up to 280 tons at sea level and 306 tons in a vacuum. SpaceX also highlighted a specific impulse of 350 seconds, an engine weight of 1.525 tons, and a combined mass for engine and vehicle side components of 1,720 kilograms. With this thrust capability, Super Heavy with 33 engines can achieve a maximum thrust of 9,240 tons, 20.37 million pounds, while Starship can reach a thrust of 1,758 tons, 3.88 million pounds, maintaining its status as the most powerful spacecraft. Nevertheless, this may not satisfy SpaceX engineers who are eager to further upgrade this version. Musk stated, "The fundamental architecture is now right, but we will still make thousands of improvements." Now, space enthusiasts are holding their breath as they await Raptor 3's debut in 2025. 2025 will also start up with Starship Flight 7. SpaceX's Starship Flight 7 is poised to be a significant milestone in the ongoing development of the next-generation Starship rocket. According to documents filed with the Federal Aviation Administration, Flight 7 is targeted to lift off from Texas in the early morning hours of January 11, 2025. This timing will allow a NASA aircraft to capture and record thermal imagery of Starship's re-entry, which will occur during nighttime over the Indian Ocean. Starship Flight 7 will serve several critical objectives as part of SpaceX's iterative testing approach. One of the primary objectives is to achieve a successful separation between the Super Heavy booster and the Starship spacecraft. This step is crucial for validating the rocket's performance during ascent. Shortly after separation, the Super Heavy booster will be recovered to reinforce its commitment to reusability. This recovery process is vital for reducing costs and increasing launch frequency. The flight will further test the upper stage of Starship under orbital conditions, providing valuable data on its performance and capabilities in space. Elon Musk has hinted at attempting a controlled landing for the Starship after its flight, which would be another step toward refining landing technologies. The significance of Starship Flight 7 extends beyond its immediate objectives. It plays a pivotal role in preparing for future missions. The Starship system is integral to NASA's Artemis 3 mission, scheduled for 2027, which aims to return humans to the moon and mark a historic moment by landing the first woman and the first person of color on lunar soil. Additionally, SpaceX envisions utilizing Starship for Mars exploration and colonization efforts as part of Elon Musk's broader vision of making humanity a multiplanetary species. As preparations continue for Flight 7, SpaceX is also focusing on ensuring that all systems are ready for potential challenges during the flight. The company's iterative approach allows it to learn from each test flight and make necessary adjustments before subsequent launches. With an evolving timeline and clear objectives aimed at enhancing rocket performance and reusability, this mission will not only contribute to SpaceX's goals, but also support NASA's Artemis program and future interplanetary endeavors. As excitement builds around this upcoming flight, both SpaceX and space enthusiasts worldwide are eager to see how these advancements will shape the future of space travel. Blue Origin recently made an interesting video sharing the company's vision and commitment to space exploration. Additionally, they say that they are actively seeking passionate individuals to join its mission of space exploration and development. The video also shares a bit about New Glenn, Blue Origin's big rocket that's about to launch. The rocket was born because the company's vision includes creating a future where millions of people can live and work in space, leveraging its resources for the benefit of the Earth. For that reason, in their own words, they have made a beast. The big rocket is considered to be modern and reusable competitive to SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket. It's safe to say New Glenn is slightly larger than Falcon 9 with a height of 98 meters and a diameter of 7 meters. Its larger size gives it the ability to deliver a 45-ton payload to low Earth orbit, and its 7-meter diameter payload fairing helps it to stay commercially competitive, as it can accommodate large objects, such as Sierra Space's Dream Chaser with its Shooting Star cargo module. While Falcon 9 employs Merlin engines that use RP-1 kerosene and liquid oxygen, New Glenn utilizes BE-4 engines that burn liquefied natural gas and liquid oxygen. BE-4 engines outperform Merlin in terms of power, but are totally dwarfed by SpaceX's advanced new rocket engine, the Starship Raptor engine. However, no matter how advanced the rocket was advertised, New Glenn was still considered a major disappointment by the space industry. Many people raise the high hope that the presence of this rocket on the market will weaken SpaceX's monopoly position, but Blue Origin has let them down. After many years and many delays, the vehicle has yet to fly. This December, Jeff Bezos' company has sparked the hope a little bit by announcing that they are planning a launch of New Glenn on New Year's Eve, with the launch window on December 31st or January 1st from 11:30 p.m. to 2:45 a.m. If everything goes according to plan, this will be a real gift and fireworks to welcome the new year. But is that timeline realistic? The 320-foot-tall New Glenn rocket is currently awaiting static fire testing and the necessary FAA launch license, despite being on the launch pad for over a month. The hot fire test is crucial, as it is the final assessment needed to confirm the rocket's readiness for its inaugural flight. Without this testing completed, an early launch date cannot be assured. Additionally, only a few minor updates regarding the flight have been shared, primarily about small-scale testing. This lack of transparency has raised significant concerns about the likelihood of a launch occurring this year, especially since we are just a week away from the end of 2024. To make matters more complicated, the X user has pointed out what is referred to as Berger's Law, suggesting that the launch date for New Glenn in 2024 is likely to be postponed. This humorous saying, coined by Ars Technica editor Eric Berger, states, "If rocket is predicted to make its debut in Q4 of a calendar year, and that quarter is 6 or more months away, the launch will be delayed." Indeed, in August, the Washington-based company set a fourth-quarter launch date for New Glenn's debut flight. However, with 4 months already passed, and the launch date still distant, it seems that Burger's law may be proving true in this instance. So how about you? Do you think Burger's law will be true in this case? Please comment yes in the comment section below. One more interesting tidbit: Burger's law also works in the other cases. For example, the CEO of Sierra Space, Tom Weiss, on April, declared confidently that Dream Chaser's first flight would be in the fourth quarter of this year. And finally, the launch is now targeted somehow in 2025. Or a German new space startup, rocket factory Augsburg AG, aka RFA, underlined their maiden launch date of the RFA-1 rocket no earlier than Q4 2023. Surprisingly, with a series of delays, the maiden launch is now slated for no earlier than 2025. Although New Glenn's inaugural test flight may be postponed until next year, Jeff Bezos remains determined to narrow the gap in the space race with Elon Musk. In an unexpected move, Blue Origin's founder has begun following Musk on X, which could be seen as an attempt to mend their fraught relationship. Or it reflects another plot. Both billionaires have amassed their fortunes through groundbreaking technology companies, but Musk has consistently outpaced Bezos in their shared goal of space colonization. Their rivalry began in 2004, characterized by public criticisms, including Musk labeling Bezos a copycat for his space endeavors. Recently, tensions escalated when Musk accused Bezos of suggesting that others sell their Tesla and SpaceX stocks, a claim that Bezos denied. Bezos' recent decision to follow Musk on X comes as he is approaching two significant milestones. Blue Origin is preparing for the launch of New Glenn, which will directly rival SpaceX's reusable Falcon 9 rockets. Additionally, Amazon, under Bezos' leadership as executive chair, is set to roll out Project Kuiper, a satellite network designed to compete with SpaceX's Starlink in providing internet access from low Earth orbit. Together, these initiatives represent a bold challenge to SpaceX's stronghold in the commercial space market. The introduction of New Glenn and Project Kuiper marks a new chapter in the ongoing rivalry between the founders of Amazon and Tesla. While both have achieved remarkable success in their respective industries, Musk has outperformed Bezos in the realm of space exploration, reshaping rocket technology and launch frequency through SpaceX's innovations. SpaceX's reusable rocket boosters have significantly lowered launch costs and increased the frequency of payload deliveries to orbit. This innovation is particularly beneficial for transporting satellites, cargo, and crew to space stations, as it provides governments and other customers with limited alternatives. With launches occurring every few days, SpaceX accounted for approximately 85% of all orbital mass sent into space in the last quarter, which is 12 times more than the next largest competitor, China's primary government contractor. This year alone, SpaceX has completed over 130 launches and is currently testing a larger rocket called Starship. Additionally, SpaceX's Starlink network boasts more than 6,000 satellites in orbit, serving over 4 million customers and providing crucial internet access to remote areas, including war zones and rural regions. In contrast, although Jeff Bezos founded Blue Origin around the same time, it has yet to launch any payloads into orbit. The reasons for this bitter fact are revealed by BO's founder himself in an interview in 2023. During the interview, Bezos candidly acknowledged that Blue Origin needs to be much faster, and it's one of the reasons that I left my role as the CEO of Amazon a couple of years ago. Slowness partly comes from indecision, not daring to take risks and fail. It's safe to say that BO gets obsessed with getting things exactly right, which is reflected clearly through the logo, which is a feather that symbolizes the perfection of flight. Although the BE-4 engine has the same thrust as Starship's Raptor 2, it is still not considered as powerful as the Raptor in general. This is due to the philosophy of living in a safe zone that BO has pursued all the time, meaning never testing the engine in its final frontier to reduce the risk of explosion as much as possible. The information surrounding the development of the New Glenn rocket is rarely shared with the public because BO probably does not want to reveal its weaknesses. However, does this make sense anymore now that the world knows about their slowness? Jeff Bezos and his rocket company have become the focus of public criticism. People call BO the big joke in the aerospace industry. New Glenn is the toy next to Starship. The slowness and lack of reliability in the BO rocket development process caused Jeff to continuously lose valuable contracts to Elon. On the other hand, SpaceX is famously not afraid to fail. They also failed multiple times in their attempts to land the Falcon rocket many years ago, and the company narrowly went bankrupt in 2021. Starship's Raptor engines have been continuously pushed to the limitation in tests, leading to a series of explosions, and most seriously, the damage on OLM last April, causing the 7-month holding up of Starship. Despite these obstacles, Elon Musk still upholds the spirit of never giving up. It explains why Jeff Bezos is increasingly determined to accelerate Blue Origin's pace, starting with shaking up the leadership of the company. Last year, former Amazon executive Dave Limp, who ran products such as Kindle, was appointed to replace the former chief executive officer of Jeff Bezos' space company, Blue Origin, Bob Smith. Bob Smith has led Jeff Bezos' rocket company since 2017. He was a longtime aerospace executive at Honeywell. During his tenure at Blue Origin, the company flew the first crewed mission of the New Shepard suborbital rocket, flying Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos to the edge of space in 2021. However, Smith has faced criticism for his leadership of Blue Origin, including an open letter from former employees in 2021 alleging safety concerns and a sexist environment. Dave Limp has been the lead executive on Project Kuiper and previously spent 15 years at Amazon. He believes that adopting the e-commerce giant's customer-focused approach could be crucial for revitalizing Blue Origin. He noted that when he took over nearly a year ago, the company was overly focused on research and development and needed to accelerate manufacturing while prioritizing customer needs, whether they were scientists or space tourists. Limp identified 2 primary objectives for 2024: increasing engine production and successfully launching the New Glenn rocket. The company aims to have New Glenn ready for launch by the end of the year, which would significantly demonstrate its ability to compete with SpaceX if successful. Limp emphasized the importance of transitioning from creating impressive prototypes to becoming a world-class manufacturer, highlighting the need for a shift in focus to meet customer demands effectively. On December 16th, Blue Origin CEO Dave Limp posted an interesting tweet on X, promising a wet dress rehearsal test for the New Glenn rocket before its launch in the not-too-distant future. "We are all clear to complete a wet dress rehearsal this week ahead of hot fire for New Glenn." The tweet, while raising one more sense of hope and anticipation, still got the public excited. Everyone hopes Dave Limp will be a person who talks the talk and walks the walk. And now we can temporary relief as 3 days later, the massive 320-foot-tall New Glenn rocket sat on Launch Pad 36 at Cape Canaveral, was fueled but not launched, signaling a wet dress rehearsal as anticipated. After multiple hours of steam venting from the rocket, all activity stopped. Yes, the test was completed. Of course, the 7 main engines on its New Glenn rocket were apparently not fired, so this was not a hot fire test, which will come next if Thursday's test was successful. On the same day, talking about the Blue Origin, the FAA said, "Blue Origin is the 4th commercial space operator to onboard the Space Data Integrator (SDI) tool, which shares rocket flight data with the FAA to enhance airspace safety and efficiency during space operations. If all is found to have gone well during these tests, the rocket's debut launch may occur before the end of 2024, which as of right now is only roughly 10 days away. It might be on Christmas, who knows?" Some Blue Origin employees noted that they were being asked to work on Christmas Day this year in Florida. Anyway, A launch window is not yet listed on the Federal Aviation Administration warnings, so we have a lot to look forward to in the upcoming days. The Space Coast Office of Tourism has the launch listed as occurring no earlier than December 30th, which makes the situation even more complex. You know, the vehicle needs to launch as soon as possible and has to be successful in the first attempt, because this involves the timelines of the following flights. The big rocket had been scheduled to launch NASA's twin Escapade Mars probes as early as spring 2025. The mission was initially to launch on October 13th, but was delayed later due to New Glenn's unpreparedness. If the second launch window in the spring continues to be canceled, it would pose serious implications for various aspects of the mission, including costs, scheduling, and technical challenges, potentially adding further setbacks to Blue Origin's already tarnished reputation. This is clearly bad news for both the National Space Agency and the company itself. However, the delay of the Escapade Mars launch is not as bad as the delay of NASA's Artemis mission. The Artemis program is an international effort that involves collaboration with commercial and international partners. The overall program cost is expected to be over $93 billion between 2012 and 2025. Like SpaceX's Starship, Blue Origin's New Glenn is an element needed for Blue Origin's human lander for the Artemis 5 mission. It will be the first crewed flight of the Blue Moon lander and will be the third lunar landing of the Artemis program as well. Additionally, the Super Heavy Lift rocket will be used to fuel the lunar lander in space for missions to the moon, like what Starship will do. Therefore, New Glenn's progress is all eyes on NASA. Lisa Watson-Morgan, the program manager for the Human Landing System, said, "New Glenn, obviously, that they're vertical on LC-36. So they're going through all their ground processing, getting ready for their hot fire." She also expected a hot static fire test on Thursday, immediately after the wet dress rehearsal. Maybe today, maybe soon. I think it's very soon. And so to that, we are really looking forward to that Blue Ring flight that is coming up for Blue Origin. So we get insight into their processing, their hot fires, into their early commercial launches. And that gives us confidence that as we're moving forward, that the launch vehicle system is making progress. NASA's concerns about New Glenn's slow progress are justified. Because not only the lunar lander, Blue Origin is also developing the complex in-orbit refueling technology serving Artemis. Of course, they have to test it in practice through several pilot campaigns to improve it gradually. That will take a lot of time and effort. SpaceX, another NASA partner in Artemis, has acknowledged that fact, so they're going as fast as they can. Between 2023 and 2024, SpaceX's Starship program has taken to the skies with a total of 6 test flights, providing the team with invaluable data to better and upgrade the rocket into its more modern iterations. Block 2, for example, is a little bit taller and carries a lot more propellant, so this will be a significantly more capable vehicle than what we've seen before at carrying payload into orbit. The hardware will be the star of the show in Flight 7, leaving the entire space industry excited and anticipating. Unlike the rival Blue Origin, SpaceX attempted and nailed a daring orbital refueling test of Starship in Flight 3, where the firm transferred around 10 metric tons of liquid oxygen from Starship's header tank to its main tank while it was in space. The test's result is an important stepping stone for next year's orbital refueling test between 2 starships. Furthermore, SpaceX stunned the whole world with the unprecedented feat in Flight 5, which witnessed Super Heavy come back to Earth about 7 minutes after liftoff, nestling next to its launch tower, which secured the rocket with its chopstick arm. In conclusion, SpaceX's rapid growth and unexpected success dwarf Blue Origin, which, although founded before SpaceX 2 years, but its footprints in space are just counted on the fingers. Obviously, what the Washington-based company gets today is totally in the crystal ball of many people. You might know that Elon and Jeff used to have a good relationship in the early days when both men's space exploration ambitions started to heat up. Unfortunately, the two mindsets were very different from the start. During an intimate dinner between two billionaires in 2004, Musk likened Bezos' rocket work to barking up the wrong tree. He also revealed that SpaceX had tested some of Bezos' ideas, and they were all stupid. Elon even added, "I actually did my best to give good advice," which he largely ignored. As time passed, their paths increasingly diverged. While Elon spreads the workaholic culture to SpaceX's environment, the work style at Blue Origin seemed more laid back, or lazy as some describe it. In a candid 2018 internal memo, a Blue Origin executive boldly declared that Blue is kind of lazy compared to SpaceX, highlighting the stark differences in work culture between the two aerospace giants. At SpaceX, long hours are the norm, with employees often expected to work through vacations and endure burnout as part of the company's relentless drive for innovation. In contrast, Blue Origin maintains a more traditional approach, where a standard 40-hour workweek is common. However, some Blue executives have expressed concerns that this conventional schedule may not suffice to achieve their ambitious goals. One executive even suggested that if the company expects more than 40 hours from its staff, they should communicate that clearly and adjust performance evaluations accordingly. Elon Musk echoed this sentiment, famously stating, "Nobody ever changed the world on 40 hours a week," advocating for the grueling hours that SpaceX employees often clock, sometimes reaching 80 to over 100 hours weekly. While SpaceX thrives on a high-pressure environment that some describe as SlaveX, Blue Origin is seen as more laid back, with a focus on work-life balance. Yet this approach has led to criticisms about their pace and urgency in achieving milestones. As Blue Origin strives to catch up with SpaceX's rapid advancements, the contrasting work cultures raise questions about what it truly takes to succeed in the fiercely competitive space industry. One more interesting tidbit. While Jeff Bezos' rocket company, Blue Origin, is often seen as a paradise thanks to its emphasis on work-life balance, his other venture, Amazon, has earned a reputation that feels more like hell. Critics have been vocal about Amazon's alleged monopolistic practices and the mistreatment of its workers. Headlines paint a grim picture of delivery drivers enduring grueling hours without bathroom breaks, reportedly resorting to peeing in bottles, and warehouse employees facing relentless pressure to work faster. The stark contrast between the two companies highlights a troubling dichotomy. At Blue Origin, the focus is on maintaining employee well-being, while at Amazon, the chorus of complaints about working conditions and corporate ethics grows louder. Recently, the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has taken aim at Amazon, accusing it of employing unfair and illegal strategies to maintain its monopoly power. This lawsuit underscores the growing scrutiny over Amazon's practices, as regulators allege that the company stifles competition and exploits its market dominance. Bezos has defended the treatment of Amazon staff, but acknowledged the company needs to do a better job in his final letter to shareholders before he stepped down as CEO earlier in 2021. The motive behind his step back is to focus more on his space company. Bezos is the founder and owner of Blue Origin, a company he has previously described as his most important entity. He often finances the company by selling his stocks from his share in Amazon. The Washington-based online retailer Bezos, founded 30 years ago, is now the largest commercial business in the world, achieving $386.1 billion in sales in 2020. Bezos talked about his passion for space in a 2018 interview with Via Satellite. "I have been fascinated with space and rocket propulsion since I was a 5-year-old boy and watched the Apollo program. I watched Neil and Buzz step on the moon," he said. "My high school girlfriend is on record as saying that she is convinced I started Amazon just to get enough money to be able to start Blue Origin. I always had in mind this idea of getting into the space business. And of course, the financial success that I had as a result of Amazon is what allowed me to start Blue Origin." However, Blue Origin is locked in heated competition with launch market leader SpaceX. Perhaps Jeff was born for sailing rather than building rocket, so by 2023, he appointed a former senior Amazon executive, Dave Limp, as the new CEO of the rocket company. During the interview to become the CEO of the billionaire's space venture, Dave Limp had only one question. "Jeff, is Blue Origin a hobby or a business?" Limp asked. After 14 years as a senior Amazon executive, Limp said that he made it clear to Bezos that he wasn't interested in leading Blue Origin if the nearly 25-year-old venture wasn't intended to be a serious company. As 2024 is coming to an end, SpaceX has been slowly setting its goals for 2025, with the latest revealing that there will be more than 180 Falcon launches in the next year. This is truly an incredible number compared to that in 2024, showing that the looser regulation in Trump's second term will facilitate space activities. The national security strategies will also be enhanced under Trump's 2.0, which is highlighted in a sweeping policy agenda known as Project 2025, led by the Conservative Heritage Foundation. This suggests that Trump's return could see a pivot toward a more offensive Space Force. And everything has been kicked off from now in Vandenberg Base, California, with a plan to launch up to 100 SpaceX Falcon 9 launches annually. Yes, you heard right. This is confirmed in the notice of the Department of the Air Force. The overall launch cadence for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy at both SLCs, Space Launch Complexes, combined, would be 100 launches per year. While the California Coastal Commission was busy throwing tantrums and citing Elon Musk's political views as a reason to restrict launches, the Pentagon decided to go ahead and do what it wanted. Talk about a slap in the face. Musk himself couldn't resist mocking the CCC's failure, quipping that the coastal Karens can go suck eggs. Ouch. So how did the commission respond to this epic humiliation? Spoiler alert, they didn't. They were so embarrassed that they couldn't muster a single word in defense of their ridiculous ruling. Instead of standing tall, they're probably huddled in a corner somewhere, contemplating their life choices while SpaceX rockets zoom overhead. More ridiculously, an ex-user even adds to this humiliation by revealing that Commissioner Gretchen Newsom, one of Musk's most aggressive attackers, has since made her post hidden regarding the October announcement of the commission. What a shame! The move against Musk by Democratic officials has been the subject of criticism for some time. A SpaceX employee who is familiar with the story told on X. They cited environmental concerns, but after listening to the entire meeting, it was clear that this was not about the environment. I've compiled some clips from the meeting, and some of them are insane. How on earth are these people allowed to say lies and then regulate private companies? They are stopping progress for political or personal reasons and only care about themselves, not the good that these services provide. Indeed, the California Coastal Commission's decision to deny SpaceX's request to increase Falcon 9 launches is nothing more than a blatant display of personal and political bias. This ruling is not only ethically questionable, but also lacks any legal standing. They can approve or deny permits from private companies and individuals that affect the coast. It can't deny a federal activity. Although SpaceX is a private company, it's become a major launch provider for the U.S. military, which includes sending up spy satellites through SpaceX's Starship program. More importantly, the U.S. Space Force has rightfully declared that the increase of SpaceX launches from Vandenberg is a federal matter of national security. It's no wonder that the U.S. Department of Defense, in collaboration with various departments like Homeland Security, Interior, Agriculture, and Justice, has chosen to completely override the CCC's laughable decision. They've granted SpaceX the green light to ramp up launch operations from Vandenberg Space Force Station, proving that the CCC's authority is about as relevant as a flip-flop in a snowstorm. Of course, the Department of the Air Force also needs to kick off a federal process to examine the environmental effects of expanding Falcon 9 launches from the base. The process calls for the U.S. military to hold meetings next month and give the public a chance to comment on the increased SpaceX activity. The goal is to conduct studies and publish a draft of the environmental impact statement next spring before finalizing a decision in the fall. It's safe to say this success plays an important role not only for SpaceX, but also for the whole space industry. The first one is about the economic benefit. As you know, the advertised price for a Falcon 9 launch is around $62 million for commercial missions, though this can vary based on specific mission requirements. So if SpaceX increases to 100 launches per year at Vandenberg, its total revenue will be $6.2 billion annually from Vandenberg alone. This is truly incredible revenue growth, not to mention SpaceX's launches from other sites or other revenue streams like Starlink or other services. This amount of money would be used to invest more heavily in the Starship program and the infrastructure supporting it. Beyond that, by expanding the number of Falcon 9 launches, Vandenberg aims to maximize its capacity for the private sector. The military's move underscores a commitment to enhancing space launch capabilities while addressing national defense needs. The California Coastal Commission's decision to limit SpaceX launches poses a significant threat to national defense. The CCA's actions have inadvertently aligned with adversaries like China and Russia, undermining U.S. national security by restricting access to vital space capabilities. The U.S. has long recognized that maintaining a strong presence in space is crucial for both military and civilian operations, including weather monitoring and communications. With growing threats from adversaries capable of targeting satellites, the Space Force has adopted a strategy focused on resilience and proliferation, emphasizing the need for increased launch capabilities. Vandenberg is unique in its ability to launch into polar orbits without overflying populated areas, making it a strategic asset for the U.S. military. The Space Force plans to ramp up launches from Vandenberg from 50 to 100 annually to meet rising military and commercial demands, including support for humanitarian efforts. In fact, if you have been keeping up with SpaceX's news, the latest news would not take you much by surprise. The military's protection for SpaceX against CCC was shown clearly in October, amid the escalating tension between SpaceX and CCC. At that time, Space Force's Space Systems Command awarded SpaceX a $733.5 million contract to launch 9 missions to carry military satellites into orbit for the U.S. government. 6 of the launches are set to fly from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California as soon as late 2025, when SpaceX was denied a launch boost by the Commission. Simultaneously, Gavin Newsom, the Golden State governor, a Democrat who had previously many verbal fights with Elon on X, showed his supportive opinion of Elon Musk in the fight against the California Coastal Commission by saying, "I'm with Elon." Another good news is, SpaceX is now building 2 landing pads at California's Vandenberg Space Force Base for Falcon Heavy. One of them is the SLC-6 launch complex to enable launches as early as 2025, allowing up to 50 West Coast missions annually. The next year or so will be full of interesting movement at this pad. SpaceX upgrading SLC-6 for 50 rocket launches annually manifests the company's glorious victory against the California Coastal Commission. Frankly, Vandenberg Space Force Base granted SpaceX permission to lease Space Launch Complex 6 for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy launches on April 21, 2023. The agreement was signed by Colonel Rob Long, Space Launch Delta 30 Commander. SpaceX's purpose to take over this place is very clear. It's part of Space Launch Delta 30's launch pad allocation strategy, which evaluates the suitability of various launch sites for different types of rockets and payloads. This agreement is the first round of launch pad allocations, and additional rounds of allocations will occur in the future after further operational analysis. The process is critical to ensuring that launches are safe and that the selected launch site can accommodate the unique requirements of each mission. Clearly, SpaceX's advantage at Vandenberg will give the company an edge over rival United Launch Alliance, in the competition for military contracts. In response, in a move to differentiate itself from SpaceX, ULA is proposing a new military application for its Vulcan Centaur rocket, a space interceptor capable of thwarting potential threats to U.S. assets in orbit. ULA CEO Tory Bruno positioned the Vulcan Centaur not just as a launch vehicle, but as a potential orbital deterrent against adversaries targeting Space Force assets. Bruno has long advocated expanded capabilities for the Centaur upper stage. In 2020, he outlined plans for an enhanced Centaur 5, featuring increased energy, thrust, and duration capabilities to enable complex trajectories and ambitious future missions. More recently, he has promoted a high-performance, long-duration version that could operate for days or weeks in support of U.S. military operations. The proposal comes as ULA seeks to regain ground lost to SpaceX in the military launch market. Once the dominant provider for U.S. military launches, ULA has seen its market share erode since SpaceX entered the field in 2015 with its cost-effective Falcon 9 rocket. The Vulcan Centaur, currently awaiting certification for national security space missions, features a first stage powered by two Blue Origin BE-4 engines and a second stage, Centaur 5, using an Aerojet Rocketdyne RL-10 engine. Bruno suggests that, with upgrades, the Centaur 5 could serve as a long-endurance vehicle for counter-space missions and a space interceptor. While conventional satellites move slow and deliberate in their motion, said Bruno, the enhanced Centaur could rapidly respond to developing threats. Bruno argued that the U.S. government should foster unique capabilities among launch providers rather than encouraging competition solely on price. There's going to be 3 heavy lift providers. There's going to be 2 medium lift guys, Bruno said, referring to the evolving landscape of the National Security Space Launch Program. Bruno suggested that the Space Force should look beyond just launch capabilities and pricing when selecting providers. There is unhealthy competition if you have businesses that are carbon copies of one another, he said. If you make them exactly the same, then in the business world, we call that a race to the bottom, he warned. The first company that hits scale above the other companies will then take over. And a couple of years later, you got a monopoly. SpaceX started to find Texas appealing for rocket launch sites in the early 2010s. As the draft environmental impact statement, SpaceX Texas launch site released by the FAA stated that the purpose was to provide SpaceX an exclusive launch site that would allow the company to accommodate its launch manifest and meet tight launch windows. To build the new commercial launch facility, between 2012 and 2014, SpaceX considered 7 potential locations around the United States. For much of this period, a parcel of land adjacent to Boca Chica Beach near Brownsville, Texas, was the leading candidate location. Finally, in August 2014, after extensive environmental assessments by the FAA, SpaceX officially selected Boca Chica Village, 350 miles south of Austin, as the site for its non-governmental launch facility. This decision was influenced by factors such as proximity to the equator and large unpopulated areas suitable for safety. During launches, soil preparation commenced in October 2015, transforming the remote coastal area into a bustling spaceport. SpaceX invested heavily in infrastructure, building launch pads, fuel storage facilities, and tracking systems. Initially intended for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy launches, by early 2018, SpaceX announced that Starbase would be dedicated exclusively to the development and testing of its next-generation vehicle, Starship. Between 2018 and 2020, Starbase became a hub for rocket production and testing. The site saw rapid advancements with multiple high-altitude test flights that contributed valuable data for refining Starship's design. In 2020, SpaceX achieved several successful landings during these tests, marking significant progress in reusable rocket technology. In 2021, SpaceX CEO proposed the idea to turn the Boca Chica site, later renamed Starbase, into its own city. However, it was not until December 12th that a petition was officially filed with the support of Starbase residents. As operations expanded, environmental advocates raised concerns about the impact of increased launches on local ecosystems. SpaceX faced scrutiny over wastewater management practices linked to its testing activities. From 2023 onwards, SpaceX attempted 6 integrated flight tests of Starship. As of late 2024, SpaceX sought to increase its annual launch capacity from 5 to 25 per year at Starbase. The FAA indicated it would grant permission for this expansion, contingent on meeting licensing criteria. In the meantime, Starbase continues to evolve, with ongoing construction and testing activities. According to SpaceX's president, Gwynne Shotwell, the company has invested approximately $3 billion in the development of the Starship rocket and its associated facilities. Over $1 billion of this investment was made in Texas within the past year. This includes investing in Star Factory, a 1 million square foot manufacturing facility at SpaceX's Starbase in South Texas that is designed to produce Starship components and rockets. And now SpaceX can call Starbase home, as Elon announced on X that SpaceX headquarters will now officially be in the city of Starbase, Texas. As a part of the trend of businesses moving out of California, SpaceX's headquarters move is a natural consequence of the Golden State's lack of favorable business conditions. The latest example is California's recent payroll tax increases, which are due to the state's ongoing budget shortfall and changes in federal requirements. Specifically, businesses in California have reported payroll taxes that are significantly higher than previously calculated, with some experiencing increases of around $2,000, which represents about 10% of their total payroll. The impact is significant as business owners are bearing the brunt of these tax increases as the state seeks to balance its budget. This situation has prompted discussions about California's business climate, with many citing these tax hikes as evidence of an increasingly unfriendly environment for businesses. Elon Musk considered this like eating its golden geese. In reality, the big private companies have contributed billions of dollars to the state's economy, and their relocation means a loss of tax revenue and economic activity. Over time, the cumulative effect of this shift could result in the loss of several $billion. For the first time since 1851, California experienced net negative migration in 2020, with a loss of approximately 211,000 residents. California's job creation record has also become dismal over nearly 2 years. Since January 2023, private sector employment in the state declined by over 46,000 workers. California's private sector job collapse is unprecedented, and with the state representing nearly 12% of the country's population, it is a drag on the nation's economy. Of course, SpaceX, even though it has been in Texas for a long time, but it's not the Pathfinder. Let's talk about Tesla. The electric car company made a big relocation from Palo Alto, California to Austin, Texas on December 1, 2021. Now this all began properly in the spring of 2020 when the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, refused to allow Tesla's Fremont plant to reopen despite Musk's demands due to COVID-19. Despite this, Musk announced on X that production would resume, stating, "Tesla is restarting production today against Alameda County rules," and declaring he would be on the assembly line himself. He even suggested that if anyone should be arrested for this defiance, it should be him. This bold move came just as Tesla began deliveries of its new Model Y crossover, showcasing the company's determination to ramp up production even as much of the world was slowing down due to health concerns. Musk's actions were not without consequences. Shortly after reopening, reports indicated that approximately 450 workers at the Fremont plant contracted COVID-19, between May and December 2020, raising serious concerns about workplace safety. Musk's frustration with the restrictions led him to file a lawsuit against Alameda County, claiming that the shutdown orders were unjust and that Tesla had been unfairly singled out compared to other manufacturers. His public statements during this period included dismissing COVID-related shutdowns as fascist and urging for a swift return to normalcy, with slogans like "Free America Now." Ultimately, Musk threatened to relocate Tesla's headquarters and future programs to states like Texas and Nevada if the situation did not improve. In response, Newsom downplayed the significance of the Tesla headquarters shift, noting that Musk announced plans to ramp up production at a California plant and pointing to Musk's commercial spaceflight company, SpaceX leasing office space in Long Beach. The governor also argued that California fueled Tesla's success, pointing to the millions of dollars that California has spent to subsidize the burgeoning electric car industry. Despite this conflict, Musk demonstrated a commitment to philanthropy in California in 2020 through the Musk Foundation. His contributions included significant donations aimed at enhancing education and advancing medical research. Musk donated to the Merman School for Gifted Children, reflecting his interest in fostering educational opportunities for talented youth. Additionally, he provided financial support to exclusive private schools in Los Angeles, such as Crossroads School for Arts and Sciences and the Windward School, which are known for their rigorous academic programs. Also, he made a notable grant to the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, which focuses on research into the therapeutic potential of psychedelics. This donation aligns with Musk's broader interest in innovative approaches to mental health treatment. The relationship between Musk and Newsom has deteriorated, particularly following Musk's public declaration of non-support for President Biden in 2023. After Musk's announcement, Newsom criticized him on social media, suggesting that Musk had bent the knee to former President Trump. Musk did not hold back in his rebuttal, responding to Newsom's comment with a sharp retort: "You never get off your knees." In addition, Newsom has sparred with Musk on X over a bill the governor signed banning political deepfakes. Musk responded to a measure outlawing AI-generated content before the November election by referring to Newsom as an evil comic character. "The Joker is in charge," Musk wrote on X, repeating the insult in an interview. Nevertheless, this does not mean that their relationship is full of hatred. In fact, the governor of California showed his supportive opinion of Elon Musk in the fight against the California Coastal Commission, as this commission rejected SpaceX's plan to increase rocket launches on Vandenberg. "I'm with Elon. I didn't like that. Look, I'm not helping the legal case. You can't introduce that level of politics," Newsom said, signaling support for Musk's lawsuit. He criticized the commission for focusing on Musk's political activities instead of the permit's merits. Along with Newsom, on October 18th, the U.S. Space Force awarded SpaceX $733.6 million in the form of 2 National Security Space Launch Phase, 3-lane 1-launch service task orders. SpaceX and ULA were eligible to compete for those launches, and SpaceX won them all. More importantly, all of these national security launches would take place from Vandenberg, where the California Coastal Commission recently rejected SpaceX's plan to launch 50 missions there. Well, you can understand this as a protectionist move by the Space Force towards SpaceX at Vandenberg. The Space Force will do whatever they damned well please if they're launching national security missions. It's a plot twist because they previously agreed to all of the Commission's demands regarding environmental safeguards and monitoring at Vandenberg for the increased number of SpaceX launches. Among that is to set up an interagency working group that includes U.S. Fish and Wildlife, the National Marine Fisheries Service, and the Federal Aviation Administration to address concerns as the number of launches increases. This is obviously not good for SpaceX's operation in this place. It seems that for now, things are back to square one as Newsom continues to fight against the new Trump administration. During Trump 1.0, Newsom's administration was marked by a reactive legal strategy, with California filing over 120 lawsuits against the Trump administration, addressing issues like immigration, environmental regulations, and health care. Most were successful. This period saw a relatively uncoordinated response, as many lawsuits were initiated as reactions to specific Trump policies and executive orders. By contrast, in Trump's second term, Newsom's approach has become more proactive and organized. He has called for a special legislative session to secure $25 million for legal defenses against anticipated Trump policies, indicating a strategic preparation for potential legal battles before Trump's inauguration. Trump has indicated plans to target specific California laws related to voter ID requirements, water management policies, vehicle emission standards, unauthorized immigrants, and gender-related issues in schools. He has also threatened to withhold disaster aid if Newsom does not comply with his demands regarding water management. This broadens the scope of potential conflict beyond previous issues. In a retaliatory move, Mr. Newsom said on November 25th that he planned to implement a $7,500 rebate for electric vehicle purchases in California, contingent on the potential repeal of the federal EV tax credit by Trump. However, this rebate would notably exclude Tesla vehicles, which has drawn significant backlash from Elon Musk and supporters of Tesla. And that just about wraps it up for today's episode. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next time.